Hi there. Now we're going to read lesson 96. Salvation comes from my one self, capital S. That means my soul, my spirit. Paragraph 1. Although you are one self, again capital S, although you are one soul, one spirit, you experience yourself as two, as both good and evil, loving and hating, mind and body. This sense of being split into opposites induces feelings of acute and constant conflict and leads to frantic attempts to reconcile the contradictory aspect of this self-perception. You have sought many such solutions and none of them has worked. The opposites you see in you will never be compatible, but one exists. There is only one us that is eternal, that exists forever no matter what. Obviously, our soul, our spirit. Paragraph 2. The fact that truth and illusion cannot be reconciled no matter how you try, what means you use, and where you see the problem must be accepted if you would be saved. Until you have accepted this is the fact that the truth and the illusion cannot be reconciled. Until you have accepted this, you will attempt an endless list of goals you cannot reach, a senseless series of expenditures of time and effort, hopelessness and doubt, each one as futile as the one before, and failing as the next one surely will. Here's the thing, you cannot reconcile your ego and your soul. It's impossible to live with both of those. There is going to be a conflict as long as you believe that there are two parts to you. This is why salvation comes from only one self. We have to recognize what is true in us. We have to come to the place that we acknowledge our eternal self as the only self that exists. Otherwise, we're attempting to reconcile a temporary self, a self that induces suffering and pain, our ego self, our idea of who we are versus who God created us to be. Paragraph 3. Problems that have no meaning cannot be resolved within the framework they are set. Two selves in conflict could not be resolved, and good and evil have no meeting place. The self you made can never be yourself, capital S self. The self that we made, which is a little s, our ego self, can never be our true capital S self, nor can yourself, our spirit, be split in two and still be what it is and must forever be. A mind and body cannot both exist. Make no attempt to reconcile the two, for one denies the other can be real. This is so key. This is so important that we understand this. A mind and body cannot both exist. Now, I understand. I am with you if your ego doesn't like that. If you're thinking, what do you mean? I have a body and I have a mind. But the Course is telling you both cannot exist. If God is energy, pure consciousness, there cannot be solid bodies. If you are a solid body, then where is the consciousness? Where is mind? So we have to get really clear that we exist in the mind of God. We are energy expressing itself as a body, but a body that is made of energy, a body that is malleable, a body that is not solid matter. And I know, quantum physics, science is letting us know that everything is made of energy. Our work here is to focus on the energy, because this is where salvation comes from, is recognizing what we really are, which is the spirit, the energy that animates these bodies. Until we claim our point of power in being energy, we cannot inform the physical that is appearing in form. So we've got to get comfortable with what is truly real. Let me read this again. A mind and body cannot both exist. Make no attempt to reconcile the two, for one denies the other can be real. If you are physical, your mind is gone from your self-concept, for it has no place in which it could really be part of you. If you are spirit, then the body must be meaningless to your reality. This is so important. I know if you're new to the Course, if this is, maybe you've been in metaphysics for a very long time, maybe you've been on a spiritual journey for decades, this probably sounds crazy. And I know I felt that way too, but this is a path to salvation. And what Jesus wants you to do is just be open to the possibility. If you resist this being true, it's going to cause you to close this book and walk away from A Course in Miracles or put it aside for a long time. But yet, your salvation is going to come only from recognizing the self that you are, and there's only one true self. So stay open-minded and let's see what else the Course is telling us. Paragraph 4, spirit makes use of mind as means to find its self-expression. Again, this is not saying that you are not existing here, but it is putting what you really are in perspective so that you understand that you are an expression of God. That's what we really are. And as an expression of God, we have a lot of power that we don't recognize when we think we're just these bodies that age and we're powerless against the body, powerless against the diseases, powerless against our size, our height, our looks. When we focus our attention on the things of the body and give that power, we cannot use our true unlimited power because we're disempowering ourselves by putting the focus on only what is perceived, these physical vessels. Let me read this paragraph 4 again, sentence 1. Spirit makes use of mind as means to find its self, capital S, its soul expression. And the mind which serves the spirit is at peace and filled with joy. So here's where we're getting to the crux of this. We need to put our body in service to our spirit, our mind in service to our spirit. We cannot continue to let our body be what is real. We need to put our focus on that we are energy expressing as a body. So our work is to get hold of our mind and begin to think like God thinks, begin to think like spirit thinks, not like humans with bodies think. Sentence number 3 in paragraph 4, its power comes from spirit. Again, let me read sentence 2. The mind which serves the spirit is at peace and filled with joy. Its power comes from spirit, and it is fulfilling happily its function here. Yet mind can also see itself divorced from spirit and perceive itself within a body it confuses with itself. Without its function, then, it has no peace, and happiness is alien to its thoughts. All this is an invitation for us to get clear that we're powerful, way more powerful than we ever thought. If you think you're limited by your body, if you think your height keeps you from being happy, or your weight keeps you from being happy, or your disease, or your looks, or your color, if you believe that that has power over you, you have let your mind become split, because now you're saying that your body has power over you and your mind is not singularly focused on you acknowledging the spirit that you are, the God self that you are. So you cannot direct your body into healing. You cannot direct yourself into happiness, because now you're at the mercy of what the body is doing and not being the one who is taking responsibility for being the creator of what you are experiencing. This is so profound right here. I'm going to read the title of this lesson, Salvation Comes from My One Self Alone. Paragraph 5. Yet mind apart from spirit cannot think. It has denied its source of strength and sees itself as helpless, limited, and weak. Dissociated from its function now, it thinks it is alone and separate, attacked by armies, massed against itself and hiding in the body's frail support. Now must it reconcile unlike with like, for this is what it thinks that it is for. So here we are so busy trying to make the body well and trying to make ourselves look good and trying to make the world approve of our physical appearances. That is not the right use of mind. The right use of mind is to direct the body, to tell the body what we want, to express love and peace and an entitlement to miracles. But that only comes when you have taken full possession of your of your mind, and let your mind give you the direct access to the mind of God. We've got to use our mind to say, God, what would you have me do? To understand, where does my peace comes from? Where is that intelligence coming from? So that the rightful order gets established, that our salvation comes only from knowing that we are one with the Creator. We are an expression of the Creator. God itself. We are not these bodies that we think we are that limit us. We are an expression of God itself. Therefore, powerful like God itself. Paragraph number 6. Waste no more time on this. Who can resolve the senseless conflict with which a dream presents? What could the resolution mean in truth? What purpose could it serve? What is it for? Salvation cannot make illusions real, nor solve a problem that does not exist. Perhaps you hope it can. Yet would you have God's plan for the release of his dear son or daughter bring pain to him and fail to set him free? Do you really think that God is incapable of creating beings that are powerful as it is? We're made in the image of the Creator, which is pure love, which is powerful beyond measure. But we have got to give ourselves permission to access that power, and we can only do that if we acknowledge that we have use of it. And acknowledging that we have use of God's power, we also have to acknowledge that we must be spirit. We must be consciousness. So can we be this body? No. But this body is an expression of that consciousness. Then this body can be used in service to God, to spirit, in service to love and to peace and to joy. But if your body is the cause of your suffering, then you are misusing the power of your mind because you're assigning a power to the body that it does not have. But it is your mind that assigns it power. So we're getting you to put your mind in service to the spirit that you actually are. Paragraph 7. Your self retains its thoughts, and they remain within your mind and in the mind of God. So let's look at the words here. Yourself, capital S, retains its, capital I, thoughts, capital T. So your soul, your spirit, the essence of who we are as soul and as spirit retains all of its knowledge, all of the thinking that we have. They remain within our mind and in the mind of God. So we are in the mind of God, and everything that's in our mind stays there. The Holy Spirit holds salvation in your mind. So inside of our mind is our direct access to the Holy Spirit, and offers it the way to peace. So when you say, God, there's got to be another way, we've got to be open to finding that other way and not defaulting to the human mind to show us the only way that it knows. Because as Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So we cannot use our human conditioned mind, our ego mind, and try and resolve our issues when the only issue that we have is that we're not recognizing power where power is, which is in our mind when we use the mind of God. Salvation is a thought you share with God because his voice accepted it for you and answered in your name that it was done. Thus is salvation kept among the thoughts yourself, capital S, holds dear and cherishes for you. So in our own mind are the thoughts that we think with God, are the thoughts of our soul, of our spirit, but we have to access them because they think differently than the thoughts of the ego. The thoughts of the ego are about comparing, are about blaming, are about shaming, are about guilt and judgment. The thoughts that we think with God are about love, are about peace, are about joy. So thoughts yourself holds dear and cherishes for you. Thus is salvation kept among the thoughts yourself holds dear and cherishes for you. Paragraph 8. We will attempt today to find this thought, whose presence in your mind is guaranteed by him who speaks to you from your one self. Our hourly 5-minute practicing will be a search for him within your mind. Salvation comes from this one self through him who is the bridge between your mind and it. Wait patiently and let him speak to you about yourself, capital S self. We need to let the Holy Spirit speak to us about who we really are and what your mind can do, restored to it and free to serve its will. What we're doing is we're uncluttering our mind from ego beliefs. We're beginning to let go of thoughts that are not true, thoughts that are judgmental, that are deceptive, thoughts that are of guilt, of conflict, of anxiety. We're beginning to let all that go so that we can begin to hear the thought for the Holy Spirit. The voice of the Holy Spirit that holds the thoughts that God has given us to think. thoughts like I am magnificent, I am one with you, I am powerful, I am worthy, I am lovable, I am one with the creator of all that is. Those are the thoughts that we want to return to, because those are the thoughts that are true in our mind when we are aligned with the Holy Spirit. Paragraph 9. Begin with saying this. Sentence number 2. Salvation comes from my one self. Its thoughts are mine to use. Salvation comes from my one self. Its thoughts are mine to use. We have inside of us the thoughts of our true self. We need to do the work to come in alignment with that. Sentence number 4. Then seek its thoughts and claim them as your own. These are your own real thoughts you have denied, and let your mind go wandering in a world of dreams to find illusions in their place. Here are your thoughts, the only ones you have. Salvation is among them. Find it there. So we have a set of thinking that is aligned with love and a set of thinking that is aligned with fear. We are the ones who have to sort these out and make a decision that thoughts of fear are of the ego, which is our lower self, our self that is identified with the body and thinks that we are separate from each other. Then there are the thoughts of love. These are the thoughts that are aligned with the truth of who we are, that we're all one because we're all made of energy, that every single one of us is an expression of the Creator. If we align with those thoughts, then there's nobody to blame. There's nobody to feel insecure about. There's nobody who can hurt us, because we know what we are is eternal. And our focus then is not on the frailty of the body, but in the strength and the eternalness of the truth of who we are. Isn't this beautiful and powerful to understand? Paragraph number 10. If you succeed, the thoughts that come to you will tell you you are saved, and that your mind has found the function that is sought to lose. If you succeed, and you will feel it in your heart, it will be very, very peaceful. When you choose love and you feel peace, you will know what home base is. You will know that you have come to the truth of who you are. You will feel it so clearly within. Then what happens is your desire will be only to feel that peace inside. You will make a commitment to come back to the truth once you have felt that peace. Now, for a while, we will go back and forth. It feels peaceful and we know it. We feel at ease and we know that that's true and we love it. But then we'll start spinning the stories that we have been so used to, the judgments and the blames and the I'm not good enough, that I'm not lovable enough, and they've got what I want and I'll never amount to much. So we have to decide which thoughts make us feel good, because the thoughts that make us feel good, peaceful inside, are the thoughts that we're thinking with God. Those are our true thoughts, but only we can go inside of our mind. Only we have access to how we feel. So we are the only ones who can make that choice for ourselves. Yourself, paragraph number 10, sentence number 2. Yourself will welcome it and give it peace. Restored in strength, it will again flow out from spirit to the spirit in all things, created by the spirit as itself. That means that when you come back to the truth of who you are, the love that you have will flow to everybody. You will flow it out to spirit, because you will know you're one with everybody. You will see the power and the strength in everybody. You will no longer see people as bodies. You will see them as divine expressions of the Creator, expressing itself individually as your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your neighbor, your co-worker, the person on the highway, the president, everybody. And then you will know they either remember that they're one with spirit, that their mind is aligned with the truth of who they are, or they don't remember that. And that allows us to be at peace, because our work is not to get somebody else to change their mind. Our work is for us to align our mind with God's. Our peace comes from that. And when we return to our peace, is because we know everybody else is doing the exact same thing. They either know it or they don't. But it's not our job to make other people align with love and make us feel okay. It's our job to align with love, and then we are okay with whatever they're doing. Sentence number 4 in paragraph 10. Your mind will bless all things when you know that we're all one. Confusion done You are restored, for you have found yourself, capital S self. You have found your true self, the one that is at peace with all that is, because you know that what you are is energy, and so is everybody else. Then you're not going to be focused on bodies. Paragraph 11. Yourself, your spirit, your soul knows that you cannot fail today. Perhaps your mind remains uncertain yet a little while. Be not dismayed by this. The joy your self experiences, your soul experiences, it will save for you. There is a joy inside of us that we experience, and it's not going to go away. We just have to come in and decide to experience it. The joy your soul, spirit, capital S, self experiences, it will save for you, and it will yet be yours in full awareness. Every time you spend 5 minutes of the hour seeking Him who joins your mind and self, you offer Him another treasure to be kept for you. Every time we say, Holy Spirit, what will you have me know? I want to know the voice for God in me. Every time we say that, here's what we're doing. We're joining with Source. We're joining with God inside of you, and we are receiving a treasure. For us, the treasure is peace, is unlimited access to the well of well-being, of love, of joy. Our healing is found in that peaceful place, not in condemning our body for what it is expressing. Because remember, our body is expressing the denseness of our ego thinking. All sickness, all pain and suffering comes from our ego thinking. So what we're being asked is to give up the ego thinking and come to the God thinking, to align our thinking with the truth of who we are. But we have to do it for everyone else also. If I align with that I am spirit, that I am source, and I am powerful, then we must give everybody else the same right. Because if you say, I'm powerful, but you're not, then you're really thinking with the ego, because only the ego divides and makes some superior and some inferior, some strong and some weak. When you align with spirit, we're all equal, because now we're tapping into the essence of what spirit is, which is undivided, it is eternal, and it is strength, it is power, it is what creates everything. Paragraph 12. Each time today you tell your frantic mind salvation comes from your one self, your soul, you lay another treasure in your growing store. And all of it is given everyone who asks for it. So every time I have peace in me, every time I have joy in me and love in me, every time I meet with somebody, I'm flowing those treasures out. I'm letting the whole world have these beautiful treasures, because now I am sharing of the truth of who I am by seeing the truth of who you are as well. And all of it is given everyone who asks for it and will accept the gift. Not everybody wants to be loved. Not everybody wants your peace and your joy. Not everybody wants that, but you can certainly flow it out. Sentence number 3. Think then how much is given unto you to give this day, and it be given you, because the Course tells us that giving and receiving are one. As I give you my love, I feel more of it. As I know the truth about you, I know more the truth about me. Giving and receiving are one. And the Course is very clear. Salvation comes from my one self. I need to get clear that I am one as God created me, and align with that source of power and strength, and be very clear that I no longer believe thoughts that my ego tells me, because then I'm going to be in confusion and suffering. And if I don't know my truth, I'm not going to be able to see your truth. If I am thinking I am weak, I'm going to see you as weak. If I am afraid, I'm going to see you as fearful, as somebody to be feared. Thinking with the ego does not do any good for any of us. And that is what the Course is inviting us to train our mind to do, is to shift from thinking with the ego and believe that we're bodies and separate from one another, to thinking with God, so that we can align with the soul, the truth, the spirit, the Holy Spirit that is inside of us, that will guarantee us all kinds of treasures in the way of love, joy, and peace. These are the things that truly have value. These are not things of the world. These are things that are inside of our inner world. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.